The subject learning guide starts with a video that is provided for students, and it is an introductory video. I won't be showing it here because it takes too much time. But very briefly, the introduction is also provided in the first, particularly the first page after the table of contents to students. And this is basically how it appears, and some objectives that is relevant to the subject. We then move on to session 1. I call it session 1. It's actually lecture 1. And in session 1 we've partitioned this session into different sections, and we have the first part or first section which really addresses the subject objectives, session objectives rather, and then moving on into the introduction of what this session is all about. Here we will find pre-recorded lecture video available in the form of a widget, so students can actually tap on it and it'll start playing. So, and then we've got the next section of session 1, lecture resource. This is basically the PowerPoint presentation, as you may call it, but it's effectively a keynote presentation in this book. So students can actually tap on that and it appears like a presentation format, and you can actually slide through the various slides, and all those materials, the two materials that was presented just now, the video material and the PowerPoint, the keynotes presentation material, are to be consumed by students prior to attending classes. And then during class, instead of the typical lecture, what will be done instead is to have a 20-minute brief overview of the key issues discussed or addressed in the video, the lecture video, and then quickly move on to a class exercise. And in this case, the class exercise is a research article, research journal article, and that's made available to students in the form of a PDF document. So students can actually view it in the form of a PDF. In this case, it's a Journal of Service Research article, and students are then expected to read that article and engage in class discussion. What they'll have to do during class discussion is to look at the key questions that's featured here in this book for this session. We have a total of 5 questions. What you're looking here at is the instructor's guide, so that's why we have the get answer option here. So if I were to press the get answer option, you can actually see a sample answer. So that's only accessible to both me, the lecturer, and also the tutors for the subject. Students are then expected to get engaged, organize themselves into a group, which they probably would have already done at the very beginning of the course. They will get themselves organized in groups of 4. I will then allocate those questions to various groups. They would be working on those questions for a total of 30 minutes or so, and then get engaged in a discussion, and that will be done via Twitter. And then we've got of course revision questions, which is made available to students. They can take these questions away. There is a total of 10 questions for each revision session, for each lecture session. They can actually self-assess themselves using these questions at a time of their own convenience. In session 5, we have section 5 of session 1. We would have video resources. These are typically case studies in the form of videos, which will be worked on during tutorial sessions. There are a set of questions available to tutors to facilitate the tutorial sessions, and again Twitter will be used as a platform to for students to contribute the answers. Section 6 of session 1, here we have the RSS feeds feeding from various important portals. Here in this case it will be social media marketing today portal, which is made available through the RSS feed here. So this is connected to that particular blog, and information published here I thought was particularly useful for this subject, and is thus made available for student consumption. They're expected to read these articles and they may find a couple relevant to this topic that is discussed during the week, and therefore they're encouraged to tweet about those issues for the benefit of the larger class. The Twitter platform itself is made available here, so students can actually get access to it. They'll have to sign in and get access to Twitter. Then we have additional resources, a sketchpad for students to basically capture ideas, concepts for their consumption. Zoom, which is, as mentioned earlier in the other book, is a group meeting application. Students are able to meet virtually if they are not able to meet face to face, and all meetings are recorded and archived. And all the students have to do to get to these applications is tap again. It's a widget, so it will appear as an application for students to consume during their study program. Google Drive, good applications for students to do group work, collaborative work, and also finally an application which helps me get some feedback from the students themselves, because their feedback is going to be rather useful for me to further improve the book as we move from one semester to the other. And finally, a sticky note application here. It's actually a notepad application which students could use to write notes at the end of their chapters as reflections, and it will be archived for later consumption. So that's session 1, or what do we call lecture 1, and session 2 is lecture 2 effectively. It's got the same format. If we go through that session, you'll see effectively the layout is similar, the format similar, the content is certainly different in that it addresses the content required for that week. So session 3 is also the same. We've got a total of, I believe we've got a total of 12 sessions here. So here's 12, session 12 there. So that's the last session, and students are expected to find this book, this digital book, iBook, as a useful study guide. So it's an attractive option to the typical textbook that I usually use in the other subjects. So with that, I end this video. Thank you.